Hi, everybody. I'm Janine Wright, editor of Greenhouse Grower Magazine, and I am here today with Steve Graves, Vice President of Business Development for Fluence. Steve spent his childhood summers in farming country, milking cows, baling hay, doing all that good stuff with relatives, and he's now using that connection to agriculture and that appreciation that he has for that industry to work in the lighting world. And he's done quite a bit with Osram and Fluence. And so we're happy to have him join us today.
Thank you, Janine. It's great to be here. Excited to talk about lighting and delve into related industry trends with you.
It really is amazing to me watching the lighting technology, just how far the companies are being able to really dial in specifically to the crop needs, and just really, just hone in on exactly what it needs, the right amount of light it needs. And it's interesting because I knew you had been doing quite a bit of research on the thing. Are you doing it right now on just vegetables, or are you doing stuff in the cannabis and ornamentals markets too? Or
yeah, we're doing quite a bit of work on vegetables, so high wire crops, as well as berries and leafy greens, and then we do quite a bit of work on cannabis. And it's interesting because in each crop we're seeing really exciting things. So I mentioned cucumbers. We'll have a webinar in a few weeks where we're going to discuss responses in tomato crop and specifically two different cultivars, Briozo and Merlis, and we saw very different responses in those cultivars, which I think will be really interesting for the audience to digest and then think about more holistic. Consider adopting lighting or switching from high pressure sodium to the various LED options that are out there. Similarly in herb production, we see pretty dramatic differences from one light source to another in the flavor or the aroma, and specifically driven by the terpene profiles of those crops. And then in cannabis, really meaningful responses that vary, as intensity changes, but also as spectrum may change, and specific to THC, CBD, and your cannabinoids, as well as terpenes there. So huge opportunities to continue to refine our understanding of photobiology and apply it to plants to improve outcomes in farms.
Mm-hmm. That kind of brings me to, the whole tie-in with lighting to growers being able to provide what their end customer is asking for, whether it's a bigger tomato, whether it's a, higher terpene profile or better terpene profile with the cannabis. In that area, what are some things that growers maybe need to be aware of, and especially in how they work with their lighting supplier to make sure that they're also achieving those needs, of looking at what the consumer wants?
Yeah, we think about, the value chain from an end-to-end perspective. What kind of varieties or genetics are we working with? And then ultimately, what are the use of those products downstream at the processing level or the consumption level? And, as we had just discussed, huge opportunities to improve the quality of crops through light spectrum. And I think lettuce is a really prime example of that. As you look at the influence of different wavelengths, and specifically blue light, and the way in which we can affect the shape of that lettuce, but more specifically enrich the anthocyanin and concentrations of the crop. So now you've got a really vibrant red lettuce that's nutrient rich, delivered, to a retailer or a consumer near a farm or wherever that point of consumption is. So exciting opportunities to improve quality and then consistency throughout the year, which is another problem that growers cope with as natural lighting conditions fluctuate week over week or month over month or seasonally throughout the year.
Thank you so much for joining us today and kind of updating us a little bit and the growers on, what's going on in the lighting world and some of those exciting things that are going on. We appreciate having you on Shop Talk today.
Absolutely. Thank you, Janine. It's been a pleasure, and I look forward to the next time we're here together, and maybe in person.